This is the IELTS listening test. You will hear a number of different recordings, and you will have to answer questions on what you hear. There will be time for you to read the instructions and questions, and you will have the chance to check your work. All the recordings will be played once only. The test is in 4 parts. At the end, you will be given 10 minutes to transfer your answers to an answer sheet. Now turn to Part 1. Part 1. You will hear a phone call between a man and a receptionist about a fitness club membership. First, you have some time to read questions 1 to 6. Now listen and answer questions 1 to 6.
Good morning, Rivertown Fitness Center. This is Maria speaking. How may I help you?
Hi Maria, my name's Daniel Forrest. I just moved to the area last week, and I'm looking to join a gym. I've seen your center online and wanted to ask a few questions.
Of course. Welcome to Rivertown. I'd be happy to help. Are you interested in a particular type of membership?
I'm not sure yet. I work regular office hours, and I usually go to the gym in the evenings, after 6. I'd like to know what options you offer.
We have 3 main membership plans. The most popular is our standard membership, which gives full access to gym equipment, the pool, and group classes. You can use the gym anytime during our opening hours, which are 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. on weekdays, and 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. on weekends.
That works well for me. What's the monthly cost?
The standard plan is £42 per month, and there's usually a £30 joining fee, but this month we're running a promotion, no joining fee if you sign up before the 30th.
Great. What are the other plans?
We have an off-peak membership, which allows access between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. weekdays only, and it's just £28 a month. Then there's the premium membership, which includes everything in the standard plan, plus monthly personal training sessions, towel service, and access to our members' lounge. That's £60 per month.
I think the standard plan will work best. I don't need too many extras, just basic access and maybe a few classes.
That makes sense. Our group classes are quite popular, and they're included in the standard and premium plans. Classes like yoga, Pilates, spinning, and circuit training are all free for members, but you do need to book them using our mobile app in advance.
Okay, that sounds easy enough. And what about personal trainers?
We have a team of certified trainers, and as a member, you get a discounted rate of £25 per session. Non-members pay £35.
That's reasonable. Do you have any trial period?
Yes, we offer a 7-day free trial. You get full access to the gym, pool, and classes, no commitment.
Perfect. Can I start the trial tomorrow?
Absolutely. Just bring a photo ID and fill out a quick form at the front desk. We'll issue you a temporary access card.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to read questions 7 to 10. Now listen and answer questions 7 to 10.
Do you have swimming facilities?
Yes, our indoor pool is 20 meters long, heated year-round, and open during all regular hours. We also offer aqua aerobics classes, which are quite popular.
Great. Is there a sauna?
Yes, we have separate steam rooms and saunas for men and women, located beside the locker rooms. Access is included with all memberships.
Good to know. Do I need to bring my own towel?
You can, but we also offer a towel rental service. It's £1.50 per use, or you can pay £10 per month for unlimited towels. That's especially handy for regulars who don't want to carry wet towels.
I might consider that. It's convenient. What about laundry service?
Yes, we do offer a laundry plan, £12 per month. You leave your gym clothes here, and we wash, dry, and store them in your personal locker. They're clean and ready each time you come in.
That's really handy. I might do that too. Is there parking?
We have a free members car park, but it fills up after 6 p.m. on weekdays. We recommend coming a little early or using the nearby public lot, which is just a 2-minute walk.
Okay. Are lockers provided?
Yes. We have digital lockers. Just bring your own padlock, or you can buy one at reception for £5. Premium members get reserved lockers.
That's fine. How do I sign up?
You can fill out the registration form online or in person. If you start with the free trial, we'll automatically keep your details, and you can upgrade to full membership at any time.
Do you send welcome materials?
Yes. After registration, we email a welcome pack with your membership number, app login details, and class schedules. You'll also get access to our online nutrition library, which includes meal plans and fitness videos.
Sounds like a lot of value.
We try. We also offer monthly wellness seminars on topics like healthy eating, injury prevention, and stress management. They're free for members and held on the first Thursday of every month.
That's awesome. Can you send me the full brochure and the registration link?
Certainly. What's your email?
It's d.forest92@gmail.com.
Got it. I'll send everything shortly. Let me know if you have any other questions.
Thanks for all your help, Maria. I'm looking forward to starting.
You're welcome, Daniel. We'll see you soon at Rivertown Fitness.
That is the end of part 1. You now have half a minute to check your answers. Part 2. You will hear a manager briefing a group of volunteers about Westborough Theatre Centre. First, you have some time to read questions 11 to 15. Listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 15.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Westborough Theatre Center. My name is Clara Winston, and I'm the Director of Programs here. It's lovely to see so many of you, whether you're here as new volunteers, actors in training, or admin staff. Over the next few minutes, I'll guide you through some of the basics about how the center operates and what to expect. Westborough Theatre Center has a long-standing history, having been founded in 1978 by a group of passionate playwrights. What started as a one-room drama club in an old church hall has grown into a full-scale production venue. We now operate out of this large facility, which includes a 250-seat auditorium, rehearsal rooms, a costume warehouse, and a sound studio. Our course season runs from September to May, during which we stage anywhere between 6 and 10 productions, ranging from classical theater to modern experimental plays. During the summer, we offer youth workshops and guest performances from international touring companies. These summer activities are part of our outreach initiative, aimed at engaging young audiences and new performers. Those of you involved in technical work will spend a lot of time in the workshop basement, where we build and paint all our sets. It's important to follow all safety guidelines down there, as we use power tools and heavy props. A safety briefing is held every Monday morning, and attendance is mandatory for those working in set construction. Front of house volunteers, those helping with ushering, ticket sales, or cafe service are required to wear a black shirt or blouse and will be given a name badge on arrival. You'll also be trained in emergency exit procedures and assisted access protocols for audience members with disabilities. We're proud to say that nearly 40% of our staff are volunteers. Many stay with us for years and develop their skills across different departments. Whether you're here for the experience or to build a future in performing arts, we want this to be a welcoming and creative environment for you. That's the first part of our introduction. After a short break, I'll walk you through some feedback we've received recently and the changes we're making to improve your experience here at Westboro.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to read questions 16 to 20. Now, listen and answer questions 16 to 20.
Thanks for rejoining. In this section, I'd like to talk about some of the feedback we've received from our participants, staff, and audience members, and more importantly, the changes we're putting into place. First, a recurring point was about the rehearsal room availability. Many of our acting groups mentioned that time slots were too limited, especially in the lead up to major performances. In response, we've decided to open an additional rehearsal room in the old music wing, which we've recently renovated. It'll be available for bookings starting next week. Another area of concern was the costume department. While people appreciate the size of our collection, several costume assistants pointed out how disorganized the storage has become. Labels had faded, and similar-looking outfits were stored in random locations. To solve this, we're introducing a barcode system and reorganizing the racks by category, color, and production year. As for the box office, customers told us they wanted more flexible ticketing options. So we've now introduced digital QR tickets, which can be scanned directly at the door. We'll continue offering paper tickets for those who prefer them, but we hope this shift will help reduce queues and printing costs. Audience members also expressed interest in having more interactive content before shows. For that reason, we're launching a series of pre-show talks and backstage tour, available by reservation. These are free for members and cost a small fee for general ticket holders. Lastly, many of our youth participants wanted access to more voice training and mic handling workshops. In collaboration with our sound technician team, we're adding a new program on vocal projection and microphone techniques, especially designed for our summer school enrollees. We're committed to making Westboro Theater Center an inclusive and inspiring space, and your input really does shape what we do. If you ever have ideas, problems, or suggestions, please don't hesitate to use the anonymous feedback form on the notice board in the staff corridor or come see me directly. All right, that wraps up the briefing. You'll now be split into smaller groups and directed to your team leaders. Break a leg this season, and welcome once again.
That is the end of part 2. You have half a minute to check your answers. Part 3. A student and professor are discussing a business internship project and its report. Listen to their conversation and answer the questions. First, you now have some time to read questions 21 to 25. Now, listen and answer questions 21 to 25.
Good morning, Aru. I saw your email about wanting feedback on your internship project report. Happy to help. How's it going so far?
Morning, Professor. It's going okay, but I'm a bit stuck on a few parts. I finished the draft for the company background section and started the main analysis, but I'm not sure I'm heading in the right direction.
Well, let's start with the basics. Which company did you work with again?
It's a mid-sized digital marketing firm called Beacon Strategies. They focus on brand positioning for tech startups, mostly in the London area.
Right. And what was your role there?
I was placed in the campaign strategy team. My main task was to evaluate the effectiveness of a recent campaign targeting Gen Z consumers.
That sounds very relevant. So, for the report, what's the main objective you've outlined?
I framed it around understanding how digital engagement strategies, like influencer marketing and interactive ads, can increase brand loyalty among young consumers.
That's strong. Are you supporting this with both internal data and theory?
Yes. I've got campaign performance reports from the company, including click-through rates and engagement metrics. I'm also referencing Kodler's brand loyalty models and some academic research on consumer behavior.
Excellent. Don't forget to include a section where you reflect on how theory aligns or doesn't with what happened in practice.
I'm working on that now. There were a few interesting discrepancies. For example, the firm assumed influencers would perform better than paid search ads, but the opposite happened.
That's a great insight. You can really analyze why that assumption didn't hold. Maybe it's about trust or ad fatigue among Gen Z.
I'll explore that. I've also included a section on customer feedback collected via online polls during the campaign.
Good thinking. Real customer voices at depth. How about challenges? Did you encounter any barriers during the internship?
Yes, mainly access to sensitive data. Some of the key performance indicators I wanted weren't shared with interns, so I had to rely on summaries.
That's worth mentioning in your limitations section. Be transparent, but also show how you worked around it.
Will do. For my conclusion, I'm summarizing how the campaign succeeded and failed, and offering recommendations, like refining targeting methods and doing A/B testing for future strategies.
Great approach. Just make sure your recommendations are actionable and based on the evidence you've discussed.
Got it. By the way, what's the expected word count again?
For the business internship report, it's between 4,000 and 5,000 words, excluding appendices and references. Don't go below the minimum.
Okay, I'm around 3,800 words now, but I still have the evaluation and reflection to complete.
Then you're on track. Make sure your writing is concise. No need for fluff just to meet the word count. Let's talk briefly about your presentation.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to read questions 26 to 30. Now listen and answer questions 26 to 30.
Remember, it's part of the final assessment.
Right, I almost forgot. It's a 10-minute presentation, isn't it?
Exactly. 10 minutes plus 5 minutes for questions. You'll present during week 10. Do you have an outline?
I was thinking of structuring it similarly to the report. Start with the company intro, then go into objectives, methods, results, and conclusions.
That's good. Just remember, the presentation is not just a summary. You need to highlight key findings and what you learned professionally.
Okay. I was also thinking of starting with a brief story, something that happened during the campaign to make it more engaging.
That's a great idea. A real anecdote can hook the audience. Just keep it short and relevant.
For visuals, I'll include a couple of charts and maybe a short video clip from one of the ads, if that's allowed.
As long as you credit the company and it's appropriate, that's fine. Also, don't forget to rehearse time yourself to avoid running over.
I'll definitely do that. One more thing, what theory should I mention during the presentation?
I'd recommend briefly mentioning the consumer decision-making process model, especially if you're discussing how users move from awareness to loyalty.
Perfect, I was reading about that. I'll include a slide on it.
Good. Lastly, submit your slides the day before your slot, so by Thursday 5 p.m. the latest.
Noted. Thanks so much for your guidance.
You're doing well, Aru. Just stay focused and you'll finish strong.
That is the end of part 3. Now you have 30 seconds to check your answers. Part 4. You will hear a seminar about the architecture of ancient Rome. Listen to the seminar and answer the questions. First, you have some time to read questions 31 to 40. Listen and answer questions 31 to 40.
Architecture in ancient Rome wasn't just about building beautiful structures, it was about communicating power, organizing public life, and engineering solutions to urban challenges. In today's lecture, we'll explore how the Romans developed their architectural style, the materials and techniques they used, and the functions of key buildings in their society. Roman architecture was heavily influenced by the Greeks, particularly in its early stages. The Romans admired Greek temples and adopted their use of columns and symmetry. However, as Roman civilization expanded, they began to move beyond Greek models, introducing innovations that allowed for larger, more complex structures. The hallmark of Roman architecture became not just its beauty but its functionality and engineering sophistication. One of the Romans' most significant contributions to architecture was their use of concrete. Roman concrete, or opus cementitium, was made from a mix of volcanic ash, lime, and water. This material was not only strong but also able to set underwater, which enabled the construction of harbors, aqueducts, and bridges. Concrete gave Roman builders a freedom of form that stone could not, allowing them to create vast interior spaces without relying solely on supporting columns. The introduction of the arch, and later the vault and dome, changed the possibilities of architectural design. Arches allowed structures to distribute weight efficiently, making it possible to build taller and more stable buildings. The barrel vault, a continuous arch forming a tunnel, was used in structures like bathhouses and basilicas. The groin vault, formed by the intersection of two barrel vaults, allowed for the creation of large open halls. Perhaps the most iconic Roman invention was the dome, exemplified by the Pantheon in Rome. Built in the early 2nd century AD, the Pantheon features a massive unreinforced concrete dome with an open oculus at the top. The engineering precision required to construct such a dome without modern tools remains impressive even by today's standards. The Pantheon's structure demonstrates how the Romans used weight distribution and hidden support systems to achieve stability. Roman public buildings served both civic and cultural purposes. The basilica, for example, was a large hall used for legal proceedings, business transactions, and public gatherings. Unlike churches, which would adopt the basilica form much later, Roman basilicas were multi-purpose centers of public life. They often had rows of columns dividing the space and high ceilings to allow in natural light. Another vital structure was the forum, the central public square in Roman cities. Forums contained temples, marketplaces, basilicas, and administrative buildings. They were centers for political, commercial, and social activity, reflecting the role of the citizen in Roman life. The Forum Romanum in the city of Rome remains the most well-known example. Theaters and amphitheaters reflected Rome's cultural life. Roman theaters, adapted from Greek models, were semicircular and built on flat ground rather than into hillsides. Amphitheaters, on the other hand, were entirely Roman in origin. The Colosseum or Flavian Amphitheater is the largest and most famous. Completed in 80 AD, it could hold over 50,000 spectators. Its design featured a complex system of vaults, underground chambers, and an arena floor where gladiatorial games and other spectacles were held. Public baths or thermae were another hallmark of Roman civic architecture. These facilities were not just places to clean oneself, they were social and recreational centers. A typical bath complex included hot, warm, and cold rooms, exercise areas, gardens, and libraries. The baths of Caracalla, completed in the early 3rd century AD, covered over 25 acres and served thousands of people daily. Rome was also known for its remarkable infrastructure. The aqueducts were perhaps their most famous engineering achievement. Using gravity and a slight downward gradient, aqueducts carried fresh water from distant springs into cities and towns. The water supplied public fountains, private homes, baths, and latrines. The Aqua Claudia, completed under Emperor Claudius, extended for nearly 70 kilometers. The Romans also developed extensive road networks that connected all corners of the empire. Their roads were straight, well-drained, and layered for durability. Many Roman roads remain in use today, buried beneath modern streets. These roads facilitated trade, military movement, and cultural exchange across vast distances. A key principle of Roman architecture was standardization. Across the empire, public buildings shared common forms and functions. A basilica in North Africa might look remarkably similar to one in Gaul or Britain. This uniformity helped reinforce the sense of Roman identity across a diverse and widespread population. Religious architecture was also significant. The Romans built temples dedicated to their many gods, often with raised platforms, columned porticos, and richly decorated interiors. Temples such as the Temple of Jupiter Optimus Maximus on the Capitoline Hill symbolize the power of the gods and the state. While many Roman structures were commissioned by the government, emperors and wealthy elites often funded buildings to gain political favor or leave a lasting legacy. The concept of imperial patronage was critical to Roman architecture. For example, Emperor Hadrian not only commissioned the rebuilding of the Pantheon but also oversaw the construction of Hadrian's Villa, a vast complex that blended Roman, Greek, and Egyptian architectural styles. In domestic architecture, Roman homes ranged from modest insulae multi-story apartment blocks to lavish villas with atriums, courtyards, and decorative mosaics. Wealthier homes often featured frescoes, painted directly onto walls, illustrating myths, landscapes, and scenes from daily life. These homes were designed not just for living, but for entertaining and displaying wealth and status.
That is the end of part 4. You have now 30 seconds to check your answers. You have now 10 minutes to transfer your answers to an answer sheet.